Okay, welcome to August's grounding meditation. Tonight I'm going to help you clear foreign energy that clogs the energetic membrane that sits above your skin and the foreign energy that collects up on the outside of your aura. And by cleaning these, both of these areas, it'll allow more of your inner light to shine through, and that will have allow more of your light to shine out into the world. You know, we're all meant to shine really brightly, but that light can get really gummed up. And so the light is, it vibrates out from inside yourself. So that's why, going through these monthly meditations is great, because you get a clear gunk on the inside. But the layer that just sits literally like right above your skin, it's kind of a translucent layer that's actually waffle shaped. Literally looks like a waffle. If you could take a cell of this translucent layer that sits just right above your skin and you put it under a microscope, it would literally look like a waffle that you have like for breakfast. So it's got little pockets in it, and energy debris gets clogged up from just being out in the world. So if you imagined you had a waffle and you poured syrup over it, those little pockets fill up with syrup. It's kind of the same way with that layer that sits right above your skin. And it literally, it's like, you know what it's like? It's like if you had a dirty window that you never cleaned, it would be hard for the light to shine through that pane of glass. And it's the same way with this translucent layer. So if you've never cleaned it, it's definitely going to be gummed up. And it's the same with the layer that sits around your aura. So no, most people don't know about this layer, but I promise you that the more you do it, the more you clear it, clean it off. And I'll walk you through the tool for doing that in just a moment here after we get grounded. The more you do it, the better you feel. So that was one of the first things I did after I landed, in Orange County, was I imagined, taking like a sticky gold rose that's looks like a little lint roller. And I just took the sticky gold rose and imagined that with my psychic hand, I could start clearing my body off. And then eventually that feels very, very clogged, and I'll explode it and create a new one. So I'm going through all parts of my body, which I'll walk you through. And then I'll walk you through how to clear your aura. So it's a pretty simple tool, more simple than a lot of the meditations that we do. You don't have to make a screen. You're just going to create a visual of a sticky gold rose about the size of a lint roller, and you'll imagine with your psychic hand, it's going to start clearing off your body. All right, so let's go ahead and just get grounded. I think everybody that's on the call or in the meditation tonight knows the routine of grounding and releasing and making a grounding cord. So we'll just go ahead and jump in. Take a couple deep breaths, relax, close your eyes. Give yourself this next half an hour to just settle in and give back to yourself time to clear, release. With your back straight, feet flat on the floor, and your chin level. Tune into your body. And then begin to pull your aura in around you. So your aura gets spread out throughout the day, just because of places you go, people you've been around, it kind of gets full or expanded. So if you can imagine pulling your aura in, so it's 2 feet around you on all sides, that's ideally where it should be. So your aura is the egg-shaped bubble that sits around you, 2 feet on all sides, 2 feet underneath your feet, 2 feet around you, left, right, front, back, and above your head. And if you have a current grounding cord, go ahead and release it. Just unhook it, let it retract into the planet, and then create a new one in present time. From the base of your spine or a little bit forward from the base of your spine, you just grow that visual of a hollow tube, a giant tree trunk, whatever visual you want to make. If it's open and hollow, that's better, so that it can release energy. So you go down through the layers of the planet. Make sure it's firmly planted into the crystalline core. And once it's plugged into the crystalline core, imagine that you can expand that grounding cord to at least hips width. So it's as wide at your hips as it is in the center of the planet, as it is, in the middle. Now, if you really want to make it big so that you can release energy, imagine that you can expand that grounding cord to encompass your aura. So you can expand that grounding cord out 2 feet around you and then tuck your aura into that grounding cord. Then you're really tucked in, and you know that the grounding cord's really working because it's really big. Remember, wherever you walk, your grounding cord's going with you. So you don't have to imagine, okay, it's how is it attached? It just is. Okay, I want you to start tuning in to the energies that you may have come across over the last few days or today that you need to release. You can just start by letting gravity work with that grounding cord to pull any stress out of your body. Starting at the top of your head, imagine you can let any stress go, stress that is collected up on the top of your head, the back of your head, around your eyes, your temples. The gravity pull that stress off your jaws, your neck and shoulders. Remember, this is a no effort space, so it goes right down the grounding cord to the center of the planet where it gets recycled. Release it off your torso. Release any stress off your back. Your hips also carry a lot of stress, not just your back or your sciatic. That does as well. Your hips hold a lot of stress. Release any stress off your legs, your knees, ankles, your feet. Release, focusing on different energy to release. Focus on releasing any unspoken words you did not get to say today, or maybe there's a lot of unspoken words over the past few weeks, even since the last meditation that you didn't get to express. So imagine even from your throat chakra, a little spinning vortex of energy in your throat. Remember, you can add another grounding cord to the base of that. It looks like about a little CD about the size of a $50 piece that spins clockwise in your throat, spins vertically. You could attach a little grounding cord to the base of that spinning vortex of energy in your throat, drop it down into your main grounding cord or all the way to the center of the planet, and just start releasing energies off your throat chakra. Releasing those unspoken words. And remember, you can do that same technique, a mini grounding cord from anywhere to any chakra. So if you're feeling stress in your solar plexus, if that's where you tend to hold a lot of energy, you can imagine in your solar plexus, your third chakra. You could also create a secondary grounding cord to the base of that chakra, drop it into your main grounding cord or into the planet, and release energy off of that space as well. All right, I want you to tune in and imagine you are releasing any demands out of your space. any problems, if you're working through any problems, definitely release those. And the problems may not even be your problems. They could be somebody else's that somebody has so kindly handed to you to fix, and you can't fix anybody's problems that aren't yours, really. So release problems. And one more energy to release: judgments. Those judgments could be judgments you've made about yourself. And so could punishment energy. I mean, a lot of times we'll judge ourselves and we'll punish ourselves, and that could also be other people's energy, punishment energy that's been directed at you, judgments that have been directed at you. So be sure to take a moment to tune in, sense where they are, and release. Okay, now I want you to create the mental image of a large, warm, golden sun sitting about 6 inches above your head. Remember, that's the tool you use to collect up your energy that's been, left out in the world, in projects and spaces. Everywhere you go, you leave a little energy behind. So imagine that you can call back your energy and direct it into that sun above your head. You can visualize it coming back as a color or a vapor. You can just postulate it comes back to you. You might even have a sense of where it's coming back from. So fill that sun up. And I want to mention too, I probably have mentioned this before, but just as a reminder, if you have a hard time waking up, you probably have resistance to getting in your body because maybe you have a busy day. So that's where you would want to ground, release. But remember, collecting up your energy from past, present, future, and where you left it when you were out in the astral, when you slept. So, making sure that you collecting it all back into that sun, and then filling yourself in, bringing it in through the top of your head, saturating every cell and organ in your body with that vital life force energy that's yours. And remember, if just a great reminder is, after you fill yourself in, you can ask, what percentage did I collect up my energy and bring it back into my body? So what percentage am I back in my body in present time? And if it's low, then create another sun and collect up more energy, and then fill yourself in. So you can ask for percentages on anything. What's the percentage on how effectively I'm grounding my body? And then you get those numbers, and then you just make your corrections, maybe making sure your grounded cord's really attached into the planet, making sure that gravity is really on release. So you can ask for a percentage on anything you're looking at. Okay, good job. Let's go on to clearing that layer above your skin. So again, this technique is really quite simple. With your eyes still closed, and all of you have done work with me before, so I'm just going to ask you to create a mental image of a tool, which is a small gold rose, and it's got stickiness to it. So if you can imagine the size of like a lint roller that you'd have with a handle that you roll over your clothes to collect lint, visualize this as a sticky gold rose. So that as you roll it over the layer above your skin, it's actually collecting up that debris that's settled in the waffle layer above your skin. And again, this is really important because if you've never done this, can you imagine how gummed up it's going to be with foreign energy? And honestly, after you do that, you'll probably start noticing a difference, that you feel cleaner and lighter. Okay, so again, it's just a mental image I want you to create of a small sticky gold rose. You can imagine with your psychic hand floating around your body, where you just start to roll that sticky gold rose over your head. So it's going to go around your head, around your eyes, your forehead, around your nose, across in your lips and your cheeks, around your ears. And I'll tell you, it's probably going to get gummed up pretty quickly. So when you feel like that sticky gold rose is full of debris, imagine that you kind of hold it outside your aura, it explodes, create a new one, and then continue. So you'll probably need to do this quite often throughout this meditation, because that rose is going to get gummed up pretty fast. Okay, so if you needed to create a new one, continue. Take that sticky gold rose around your jaws, your ears, and really get the back of your head where your neck attaches, or where your skull attaches, the base of your skull. There's an area on the back of your head called a pain ridge. And I know this is the layer above your skin, but this will also help pull some energy off of the back of your head. So imagine you're clearing the back of your head with that sticky rose. And then while you're on the back of your head, one thing that feels really good is stroking that rose down your spine, because so much energy is held around the spine. So I like to take a sticky gold rose and go up and down my spine several times to collect up any energy out of that area as well. So I know I'm talking about the layer above the skin, but this will also help pull some energy out of that has collected up around your spine as well. Roll that sticky gold rose over your shoulders, your arms, underneath your arms, the palms of your hands, between your fingers, the back of your hands. Make sure you go over the front and the back of your torso. Again, I just see it kind of like a floating hand, a psychic hand, just going up and down and around my body. Roll it over your lower body. Remember, if it's full, explode it, create a new one. You want to go all over each of your legs. So up and down each leg. You want to make sure you get between your toes, the arches of your feet, around your ankles. Give you another moment to finish up the clearing the membrane above your skin. And again, you may need to do this. Well, I do it actually quite often, at least a couple times a week. It doesn't take long, especially when you get the technique down. But it's really important to keep this clean and clear, and you'll start noticing a difference. So you may not be able to get it all cleared up from all of the pockets of debris. So you can go back and try this again on your own. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the layer around the aura, so you can explode whatever rows you have left. All right, so your aura is literally like a giant egg. So again, it's 2 feet around you. So you can imagine it's pretty big. And remember, so your inner light shines through your body. It's where you vibrate. It's the energy you hold inside and in your chakras. And then it's got to go through this, the gunky membrane above your skin. And then it goes through your layers of your aura and then to the outside of your aura. But your aura is literally a protective layer around you. There's 7 layers of the aura. I'm not going to get into that. Actually, there's other layers too, but the 7 main layers. So if you can imagine, everywhere you go, there's energy that you pick up from being out at the grocery store, in meetings, anywhere you go, especially like flying today. Couldn't wait to get off the plane to just clear my body. So if you imagine that is a protective layer and that's never been cleaned, you can imagine over a lifetime how much energy has been directed at your aura. So it's the same technique. You imagine you have a little sticky gold lint roller, little gold rose in your hand, and you could just imagine that your hand is kind of floating, your psychic hand, and start at the top like you would if you were just rolling it down one side of a giant egg. That's your aura. So because your aura is so big, you may need several roses. So I'll go ahead and have you start. You can start on any part of your aura that you like, roll it down from the very top all the way under your feet and then back up, whichever way feels good to you. So go ahead and start to clear off your aura. And it'll be interesting too if your aura doesn't, if your aura looks like it's misshapen. So say it looks like there is an indentation. That could be foreign energy that's sitting there. It's trying to get into your, like push its way through to get in your space. So oftentimes you'll even see people kind of hanging out on the outside of your aura. You know, you can just postulate you're moving them further away. But if you see like a dent or a divot in your aura, then maybe spend a little more time rolling the sticky gold rose over that part until it kind of pops out back into shape. Another moment to finish up. Okay. And for those of you who know how to use a reading screen, I just want to let you know that a way you could look at this on your screen, even is you could imagine taking a little cell of that waffle, imagining that you could put it on your reading screen, the screen that you have out in front of you that allows you to view energy. And you can look at it like, is it full of debris? Are the pockets still full of debris, or are you starting to see that translucent color? So it's just a way to double check. You know, if you don't like this technique, then you don't have to do it, but give it a try to do this for a little while. Maybe adding it to your meditation once a week, especially if you've been around a lot of people, you've been traveling, or you met up with somebody where you feel like you might have been a little bit slimed. This would be the time to go in and clear the layer around your body and your aura. All right, we're going to go ahead and fill ourselves back in. So create another golden sun above your head. And this time, set the energy for what you want to experience for the rest of the month. What are some of the energies that you would like to have going forward for the rest of the month? Because remember, whatever you put into that sun in postulates or intentions, you'll start to manifest or magnetize that back to you. I'll mention a few. You don't have to put these into the sun as, you know, ideas or words written in gold. And I'll give you some time to add your own. Maybe some energies like self-validation, gratitude, love. Again, as I always say, if you have a busy month, maybe you need to put some focus of attention, helpful people, whatever you're wanting to create. Maybe you need some more creativity or imagination, whatever it is to you. So I'll give you a moment to fill that sun up. And bring that sun in through the top of your head and fill yourself in. And then I don't know if I've done this with you all before, or I think it's been a while, but you can ground a calendar too. So if you imagine out in front of you, you have like a desktop calendar. You can literally, look at the month of August on a calendar, add a grounding cord to the base of the calendar that plugs into the center of the planet, and just start grounding the month. And if you know you have some things coming up on certain dates, you can imagine grounding those squares with gold. You can, if you have quotas you need to meet or dollar figures, you can imagine writing that at the top or in the margins, whatever your weekly or monthly goals are. If you're taking a trip and you want to make sure that's really grounded, look at the square for that date and make sure you bring that up to gold. So I'll give you a moment to look at your calendar. And then if you see any darker textures or colors on that calendar, you've got a grounding cord on it. You just gravity pull it out of that calendar and ground it into the center of the planet. And then you can create a golden sun above that calendar and fill it in with gold. And when you're done with the calendar, you can just imagine that you could kind of scrunch it up and then put it in a gold rose and then explode it. Then you can take your calendar out, anytime you want to look at it. I look at mine, probably it's around the beginning of every week, or when I want to, look at what's happening for the week, or if I have a busy week, I definitely keep my calendar grounded so that I can stay focused and, have my appointments flow. So that's a really great thing to do, especially if you're a busy person. Okay, when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come out of trance.